Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH. And that means that the audio is working. Seems a little low though. Let's just... Sorry, just a moment. Filters, gain, we'll just pop the gain up just a little bit. And I think it'll be fine. Where was I? Oh yeah, Coach Steve Money, live, OH. And this is the Answering Your Financial Questions live stream with Coach Steve Money. That's me, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you have money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And my financial content is just below the Oak Island playlist. You'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist and the music playlist that has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in them, such as "It's Just What You've Gotta Do," "When You Run, Baby, Step Down," "No Spending Money to Seem Cool Down, Down," "When You Run, Baby, Step Down." All right, my lovely dulcet tones sound a little bit more worse than normal today. I'm recovering from, I got some kind of congestion thing, so my voice sounds a little bit sickly or whatever. Let's answer some questions. This is from Double Succotash 2542. Bye bye Carlone. Happy Halloween. Today I paid off my car. It was that was what, 9 days ago? It was the only debt left from my marriage / divorce. Okay. There is something extra exciting and healing about having it out of my life and turning a new page in my story. Okay. But it's your car, so I don't know why that would be specifically left over from your marriage / divorce, unless you got it under the intention of having two incomes to help pay it off, maybe. So I don't know exactly about that, but it's good that you paid it off. Turning a new page in my story, right? Okay. A few more debt payments and I'll be debt free by Christmas. Fabulous. The holidays will feel a bit brighter this year for sure. Absolutely. I know many are having a tough time right now, so I'm looking forward to increasing my giving budget in the new year. Maybe step 2 flare. Excellent. Make sure you get your full emergency fund. First, though, although while doing the baby steps, like Christians believe in tithing, and Mr. Ramsey tithed all the way into bankruptcy and all the way out of bankruptcy, and so that 10% comes off the top, even when you're doing the baby steps. So you giving a bit while you're working on your full emergency fund, if that's what you think you need to do, knock yourself out. What is that? Oh, MHZ, megahertz. Okay. Megahertz 7. Savings for baby future. Hey, hi guys, looking for advice on what's the best option for savings? I'm UK bloody based. As soon as I found out I was pregnant, a bit knackered, I started creating a new account within my Lloyd's bankings. Okay. And started putting 200 bloody quid into it monthly for my baby's future. So far, I have 1.4 thousand quid in this account and intend on continuing to put 200 quid a month into it. That's 200 bloody pounds, love, into it for at least the next 10 to 18 years. Interest on this account, money into it for at least the next 10 to 18 years. Interest on this account. No period or anything, but then that might be a period there. I'm putting money into is on this account. I'm putting money to the interest on it. Okay, got it. That was so that should be a semicolon there. That threw me off. Interest on this account, and it's just a comma. Interest on this account I'm putting money into is 1%. Okay, so I got it now. The aim is to give this money to my child when he is older and in need of money. Question is, what would you advise I should do? I feel like for me, this is not the best place to keep savings for his future, as there must be better places to place these funds. What would you advise I do to maximize probably the interest to make money off of the money? And you would not do that. You would not do that. The only way you would do that is if that was for child's college. And that would be only when you're on baby step 6. So it depends on what baby step you're on. Yeah, let's check the rest of it. I'm sure it just says like 2 more words than this. Sorry. As I said, sicky. Maximize these funds. Okay, so it is only 1 word extra. So it doesn't say what baby step. No flare on here. Doesn't like to talk about our flare, I guess. So if you're gonna do it, and like I said, you might be planning on it being kind of like for baby step 5, which would be say for kid college. In the bloody UK though, it's a little bit different over there. In that if you make payments for 30 years, you can just make payments for 30 years and have student loans, and then the government forgives it. But that's not going to be the Ramsey advice. Ramsey advice is if you take loans, even in the bloody UK, you need to bloody pay it off, don't you? Right? But as far as so that would be where that fits in on step 5. Other than it being for college, a trade school or something like that, if it's not for that, then saving for baby future is a step 7 thing. So you would be paying off your house first before starting this fund. You would be paying off all your debt and so forth now. So, but it doesn't say, I guess I shouldn't have closed it. Just wanted to see only 4 comments. So let's see. Yeah, the high yield savings account, maybe that's a GISA. But whatever is in the UK version of ISO high yield savings account, just invest in some cheap global index fund. You could do that as well, or a managed fund that makes more than the indexes. You can expect 4% annual growth after fees and inflation over 20 years. Okay. If you want something more risky, that's just what somebody is answering. But I just wanted to see if the OP said what baby step and does not. So again, you would have to be on baby step 7 to do anything other than an equivalent to saving for kid college. Wrong, swordfish. Now you can open a savings account for the baby, and put in there, say, give monetary gifts. And so if you want to do that, but it shouldn't be 200 bloody quid a month, while you still have debt, while you're still in step, 1 or 2 or 3. And then if you're on 4, 5, and 6, you should be paying the house off with that money instead of doing that. Because by doing that, your house will be paid off sooner if you have one. And then you can use that mortgage payment every month to give to baby. You just it's great to do it, but you're just doing it maybe too early. Start investing and keep pumping in emergency fund up to 10K, 8K so far. Yeah, I think I talked about this one before. Step 3 needs to be completely done. So, and if you decided you wanted it to be 6 months of expenses and 6 months of expenses is 10K, then you need to keep doing that instead of investing. Now, a lot of what happened sometimes, I believe, for people, and I know a person that actually did this. They decided that he and his wife decided that they wanted to have a 6-month emergency fund. But then all of a sudden, when he found out about some investment that he could get into, then all of a sudden he was fine with having a 3-month emergency fund. And of course, that's what I love to call into intellectual dishonesty. It's because, why did you want 6 months before? And now you're only changing it to put that money in an investment. So don't be nutty like that. And so you've only got 2,000 more to go. So the advice is going to be to finish the emergency fund. You don't do steps 3 and 4 at the same time. Step 4 is when you start investing. So you got to have steps 1, 2, and 3 are done one at a time in that order without even thinking about higher steps. And look, you're thinking about investing. And I know you want to do it. I know people get excited about the steps and and I want to do this and this and this and this. Stop it. Chill. One step at a time on 1, 2, and 3. 4, 5, and 6 are all at the same time. And then you can do all your little stuff at the same time. Where to put extra money? You put any extra money from any source to whatever baby step you're on. Even like, say, child support. You would put it on to your expenses, of course, or whatever baby step you're on. Let's see, 27, husband 28, family of 5 with 3 kids, ages 9, 2, and 1 living in a high cost of living area. Forgot the word area. In Southern California, of course, Taxifornia. Husband makes $100,000 a year. He's in the union. I think I talked about this too. 100 is not that much in California. So if you do have extra money, you would be doing the baby steps. I don't know where you want to go with it, where else you want it to go. Remember from my mom, I'd love it. Would really love to buy a house, but it would take us 10 years to save up to 20%. And even then we'd be killing ourselves with that mortgage with no additional savings. Yeah, so it's a very long-term goal of ours as of now. Yeah, you might have to move or start making more money than 100,000. I mean, 100,000 there is probably like 50K here in the good old Midwest, where things don't cost as much. In the not the middle of the country, it's more like the Mid East, but supposedly the name happened because it was like midway to the known western part, just like the settled western part of the U.S., which was only about in the middle of the country at that time, I guess. And that's where the saying Midwest came from. But yeah, it's actually on the eastern side, so it should actually be Mideast. But Mideast is taken. Oh, so yeah, 100K, not a lot. So let's just take a look, see if there was any other interesting stuff here. Just opened up ourselves a Roth IRA, which we plan to max out at $7,000 a year each, 14,000 combined. So you opened up 2 Roth IRAs then, because you can only put 7 in each one. But to make our 15%, which is $15,000, we need to invest that extra $1,000 somewhere. You're probably already doing it. If he is contributing to the pension and or the annuity, then that could be that. Check to see if that's that extra $1,000 a year, and probably I would guess it would be. But the percentage you're putting to that only counts as half, because pensions and annuities don't make as much as the market does. But we also come out with additional savings even after that. Should have put the rest of that savings or high yield savings account we have for our house down payment. Sure, you get to do whatever you want to do with that as far as your priorities. And that is assuming that you are on baby step 3B and you have the full emergency fund, because you are investing already. So that, of course, should be done. And what does it say right there? Yeah, baby step 4 for investing. Okay. And so, yeah, see, that's another thing you could do. Now, you can't not put the stuff for the pension and the annuity. Probably has no choice on that. That's the way it is with a lot of jobs that have pensions. They make you put that in there, so you don't have any choice. But the money you're putting in the Roth IRAs, you could also add that to the down payment savings, and that way you get that done faster. So it just depends on your priorities. I know you forecast it as being 10 years, but maybe it won't take that long if you make changes to your budget, etc., etc. And for 3 years, Mr. Ramsey is fine with you not doing 15%. So you could put 21,000 extra dollars in there by not investing. But if you want to get investing done, then you do that instead. All that's up to you. And you don't have to. I mean, I would think that any type of house you want to buy is going to be very expensive. And so I don't even know that even after saving, maybe after 10 years, yeah, if you don't spend money on anything else. But I think you're going to have a tough road to hoe. And that would be road to hoe, not road a hoe. But that's the way some people, especially in the South, would say it, road to hoe. And they're just saying to hoe, not clearly. And so that's how that happened. Because that's the way people heard it. And then that way people think that's what the saying is. There's a bunch of those. Perhaps on one of the after shows this week, I'll do a segment on sayings that people get wrong. just because they think it was wrong because it sounded like something else, or which people do that too. They say something is a word that they already know. Like, for example, the good old statue of limitations. It's statute. Statute's like a law, that kind of thing. But when they hear people say it, like on TV, you would hear like a crime drama maybe or something like that, or some lawyer show, you would hear statute of limitations. And so people just automatically move to the word that they know, which is statute. So something like that. So that might not be that fun to do, but maybe I'll do it anyway. Bulky box. I mean, it'll be fun for me to do. I don't know if anybody will like it though. 2483 bulky box. What would be a good move as I keep leaning out of the? Just doing it again. Doing it again. What would be? Yep. Just seeing myself draw my head back there. Okay. What would be a good move? Move it in a little, see if I can handle that. Currently I have an annuity with $115,000 sitting in it. Year's return is about 16%. I don't contribute to it anymore. It was through my old union, so currently just sits idle. I'm 38, married. Okay, this is all right. Doesn't look like my neck is comfortable though. Which it seems fine. 38, married homeowner, making about $125,000, 2 kids. I wanted to do a 10K lump sum Roth IRA, and January 1st pull a one-time max contribution from this account. And over the course of the year, pay back the 7K with no penalty. Interest is paid to myself, so it could essentially be my own bank. Does this make sense, or just roll more over? Just roll more over. Because what you're talking about is a loan from it, and it doesn't matter if the interest goes to you or not. So, but I mean, what you should have done a long time ago, because annuities suck, even though you said the year's return is 16. And sure, the market, generally what we're looking for is at least 10% in the market. But in the past 2 years, it's made 20% each year. At least the indexes have. And so the good managed funds have made even more than that. So that's what I would say about that. And you don't want to try to do infinite banking like the kids do, the TikTok financial bros do with whole life insurance. That's going to be a no. So yeah, I would just liquidate it all. Why not? Would there be is there a penalty? Roll more over. So you're going to roll some over, but not all of it, and try to do, yeah, I mean, see, that's not ever going to be the advice. But I bet you've talked yourself into doing that because that's the best thing to do mathematically. Probs. Mr. Ramsey and I say no, though. Clear fix 4765. Baby step 1 and 2. Hyphen Dave Ramsey. He is the one that came up with the baby steps, yes. I don't know why the title is phrased like that. Just reached my $1,000 emergency fund. Excellent. Step 1 done. Congratulations. Now you do step 2. Do I continue putting money in there or push to pay off debt? Okay, you don't have to push. You don't push to pay off debt. You just do step 2, which is pay off debt. Why is this pushing word in there at all? You don't need that. Or just pay off debt would be fine. Or pay off debt. You don't have to push to do it. That's some nutty way of talking. But anyway, when emergencies come up, do I use that 1K fund and just replenish? Yes. Yes, you do not save one penny in there beyond the $1,000. All the money goes to debt. And yes, if you have emergency, make sure it is an actual emergency, not something that you think you need. That's not actually a need. Make sure it's actually emergency. But if it's an emergency, that's exactly what it's for. And then you would stop paying extra on the debt. You still pay the minimum payments on every single one of those. But you don't put extra to it until you get the starter emergency fund back to $1,000. Gold one 529273. 27-year-old needs financial advice. 27, female, single, and making $95,000 a year. Hope not in California. I have $231 a month in debt. Payments. You're missing the word payments there. At 5% interest, $23K total loan. Maybe. Unless it's just one loan. I max out my HSA every year. That's fine if you're using it for medical expenses because you got to pay those anyway. My goals: retire at 60. Simmer down now. What are you, 27? I got a great idea. Why don't you just have that in the back of your head and that not be your reason for living right now? Is that the retire at 60. But buy a house in approximately 10 years. Okay. Questions. What should I be investing my Roth IRA in? That's a different thing. Roth IRA has nothing to do with the house, see? And of course, everybody wants to do everything all at the same time. All at the same time. And that's a no. We don't do that. You establish priorities on what you want to do. So invest your Roth IRA in. So again, that assumes that you want to put that money in investing instead of save for a down payment using that money, which you can take 3 years off of investing for retirement. Per Mr. Ramsey, I did not make that up. In order to save a larger down payment faster. So you can do that. And unless you dive into the Ramsey material, if you're just going on just reading the baby steps and you've seen 2 or 3 shows, you might not know that. But you can do that. Should I be investing my 401k? Especially if there's a match, you should do that because matches generally, I haven't done the math on mine yet, but I think mine, it looks like my 401k, which is a Roth, so check with your employer to see if they have a Roth 401k, because that's what you should be using. But in mine, the only choices we have are all dumb target date funds, and even after they give me the extra 3%, it still doesn't make as much as the investments that I have in my Roth IRA. So, to me, that changes. I don't recall Mr. Ramsey ever saying anything about that ever. And I was going to do the math again to see if there's something that I'm missing here. Because, yeah, the company is giving you 3%. Yes, and that 3% is free. But that also requires me to invest 6% of my gross income into that. dumb target date fund, which does not make anywhere near what my managed funds make. So that are in my Roth IRA. So that's when you would prioritize the Roth IRA then, the personal account where you have more choices. And as far as I know, they're unlimited because I can buy Schwab, I can buy T Price Row, I think is the name of the other brokerage. And I'm blanking on other brokerages. I think there's one that starts with a S. No, I did Schwab. I said Schwab already. I thought that might have been it, but I can't remember. There's other brokerages in the world. So let's see. If so, what's a smart allocation? Well, it should be 25% each of the 100% that you're putting in that particular account. Should be 25% each in small, mid, large cap, and international managed mutual funds that beat those specific indexes. What's the fastest way to save for a house down payment in 10 years? If you really aren't going to have the money for 10 years, and you will have to be for 10 years, that's fine to put it in the market. Because you need at least a 5-year timeline, because anything less than 5 years, it has more of a chance being down right when you want to buy whatever it is that you're using the market for a piggy bank for. A faster way to save for a house is to not invest for those 3 years, like I was telling you. So you just don't know as much about the Ramsey advice as you need to know, and investing in general, it sounds like, especially as far as Mr. Ramsey advises it. But that would be what is invested into it. And so it goes to your priority. And most of the baby steps are you do it this way or you're doing it wrong, right? But the balance between step 3B, which is save the down payment, and step 4, which is investing, is completely up to you while you're trying to save for a down payment for a house. It can be as low as nothing for 3 years in the investing, and all that money can go towards saving for a house. So that would be up to your priorities. Some people do half, some people do up to the match. In their investing, and then the rest they put to the house fund. So, but I do need to do that, and I will try to get that done and have that too. What keeps making that noise? That's not my phone. It's coming out of the computer. I don't know what that would be. Where were we? Fastest way. Okay, I was done. All right. Yeah. So again, you just need to set the priorities. And again, you are supposed to do these at the same time if you want to. You do not have to for 3 years. You can just save for a down payment. But you need to set your priorities on that, on what you need to do. And also, you need to maybe be realistic about the kind of house you're going to buy, and see what it was 10 years ago, and see what it is now. How much that is going to raise prices on houses as well. That is an ad. It says promoted on it. I want to be promoted. Fisherman 3322 donated this month's salary to local food banks, and that is amazing. We as a group that follow Dave spend a lot of time saving, pinching pennies. living below our means and going without. Yes, we do. And we wonder why that is, what it's all worth. This is where you find out the reason. Baby step 7 says to be generous with charities. Yeah, I mean, that is up to you, though. You get to decide what the charity is. You get to decide what form the giving takes. Because basically on here, it says build wealth and give. Let's see what the learn more says. This is a dream. Total financial peace. Home is paid off. Zero debt. Money is working for you. The grass is in your front yard. Even feels different when you own it, free and clear. You know what you can do when you don't have debt. Anything you want. So let's see if it says be outrageously generous to causes that matter to you. Yep. So see, that doesn't mean that's a charity either. It can just be a cause that matters to you. All while leaving an inheritance for your kids and their kids. Right. Balance between those. That's a legacy that will last. And of course, that balance difference is all up to you. You're the one that made all that money. Get help planning. Okay. But yeah, so that kind of says that, but it doesn't say you have to do it with a charity. No, you don't. You can give money to somebody on the street that you think is not having a good go of it. You can give it. You can give it to pay. I think a lot of utility companies like water and power, et cetera, they might even have a fund that they accept donations into that pays for people's utilities when they're down and out, when they can't afford it. So that's that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily a charity. The 6 steps before this is the reason that I can do it without worry. Correct. Just like when NFL players get to the Super Bowl, a lot of the talk goes around, this is why we lift all those weights. This is the moment you realize why you made sacrifices. So when times get lean and your neighbor is suffering, you can be the safety net Christ commands us to be. Anyways, okay? Make a good point, and then just anyways, anyone else on the same step as me, consider donating to your local food pantry. This is a hard time for a lot of people, and the end is an insight for those that read this and are debt free or something like that. I don't know. We don't need the rest of it. But that is really cool. You donated a month's salary to local food banks. Excellent. This is deleted. Must have got too hot in the comments. Not blocked though. Not shut down. How many? Only 10 comments. I guess didn't like. Get it. Some people that do this, I'm sure they don't realize when you make a post like this, they message you with every single comment that comes into it. They let you know. And there's another comment. And you might be able to turn that off somewhere in settings. I do not know. To put it simply, didn't read it. 31 years old, screwed up in life, getting life back together. I'm currently on baby step 2. This person's on baby step 2. To put it simply, I spent a lot of my 20s paying off student loan debt, became debt free, and then started buying a bunch of survival gear. People are nutty. And then a 2024 Jeep Wrangler, fresh out of the factory in 2023. Okay? And when I say they're nutty, that doesn't mean survival gear is nutty. But, if you do it right after you see a TikTok about surviving, and you're like, oh, I got a new hobby that's going to cost a lot of money. That's dumb as crap. And then, of course, a brand new car. That should never happen, ever, ever, unless you are a millionaire. 41K Jeep that I couldn't afford, so I took out a loan. Boop, boop, boo, doo. Why did we pay off the student loan debt then? Why'd you bother? Why didn't you just make minimum payments on it if you're fine with debt? See that? People are nutty like that. And I get it falling off the wagon, that kind of thing. But I never did that. That would never occur to me. It's too much of a paradigm shift when you change your mindset like that. For at least in my opinion, it is. So you're doing that and you're putting forth all the effort and all your money's going to paying off the debt, and then you're going to be a dumbass and take out more debt. That is stupid. I mean, it's not even anything nearly justifiable either. Survival gear. Do you need survival gear? Probably not. It's probably just a hobby. Unless you're actually prepping for the end times, that could be. But then that's a different podcast as well. And basically, after April completely destroyed me, does April mean is that an ex-girlfriend? Just kidding. Probably the month, maybe taxes. Talking about taxes, maybe. I don't know. I realized I needed to get my life back together. Yeah, that is advised. The advice is to just get your life back together one time and then don't screw it up ever again, so you don't have to do it again. You would think, having done it before, you would not want to do it again more than you would want survival gear or a freaking brand new Jeep. The start of this year, I had around $27,000 in auto loan debt. As of November 1st, 2025, I now have around $7,294.63. That is not a round. That is the exact figure. So I don't think words mean what you think they mean. Left on my auto loan. Some people ask me why I haven't sold the car. That's a good question. And gotten something cheaper. Well, because I know it goes against Dave Ramsey saying to buy a used car that's cheaper, but I've already paid this much off. So that's just like saying it's okay to throw good money after bad. It's not. It's dumb. This is another dumb thing you're doing. I mean, but if you are able to pay it off within 3 years, Mr. Ramsey is fine with you keeping everything. As long as you can get completely out of debt in 3 years. But you actually should count the time that you did it before too, though. That should count against you, in my opinion. I'd rather pay it off and own it. I don't give a crap. You shouldn't have bought it in the first place, so you should have sold it instead of paying it off and have something relatively new in my used car I don't know the history of. It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. I know you do, but that is not the advice. And you obviously don't know what you're doing because you already screwed up once. Hopefully you don't screw up again. Either way, question mark. Either way is not a question. I have my emergency fund set up. That should only be $1,000 while you have step 2 debt. My credit card debt is all paid off. Great. Medical paid off. The only real source of debt I have right now is my auto loan. Is there a fake source of debt too? Is this your only debt? See, you don't need to be all flowery with the wording here. You don't say the only real source of debt. You could just say the only debt I have is my auto loan and call it a day there. People are nutty. I had to. No, you didn't. You chose to. Had to move back in with my parents due to financial hardship temporarily, but I'm able to get a home loan through the VA, so I may look into that. If I can still find a way to do it wisely, you cannot, because you have to be completely debt free and have your full emergency fund saved before you can even start saving penny one for down payment. So you're doing it wrong. You're still thinking about it wrong. Much luck to you, but you're doing it wrong. Either way, Dave Ramsey has really helped me a lot. Great. Then do what he says to do and not do your own dumb crap. People are nutty. People are nutty. Should I recast my mortgage? This is Muddy Waffles 86. I do not want the Muddy Waffle. Now, is the Muddy Waffles, is that just something you say if it has syrup on it, maybe? I think it looks really like mud, but I guess it could be. Hello all. Hi guys. Wife and I are very fortunate through the grace of God, hard work, and a little luck to be on baby step 6 in our mid-30s. Excellent. I recently had a significant amount of money come in through the VA in back pay, and I wanted to put that money towards a lump sum principal payment. Yes, that is what you would do. You would put it on whatever step you're on, and it sounds like you're on step 6, is what you said. So that's where it would go. However, I just found out about mortgage recasting, period. I'd love to have a lower monthly payment. Why? Why? The question is why. And I still plan on making extra payments to principal whenever possible. Is there a disadvantage of doing a recast in this scenario? Yes, and I would love to tell you about the disadvantage to it. Okay, guess what? You wanting a lower monthly payment is doing it wrong. So also, let's read it again. I'd love to have a lower monthly payment. Why? What do you need the lower payment for? You're trying to pay it off as soon as possible. That's step 6. That's the only thing you're putting money towards now. Well, investing steps 4, 5, and 6 are at the same time. So you could be doing kid college as well. But those 3 things are the only things you need to be doing with money right now. What would the extra money be for? Investing? If so, guess what you're doing? You're debt leveraging. By not putting all your money to the mortgage, you are debt leveraging to spend that money on whatever you want. Okay? And I don't care about you wanting to have a bigger buffer or whatever, more leeway, because all that means is I'm going to spend money on stuff that's not paying off my house. So you're doing it wrong. But anyway, let's read again. I'd love to have a lower monthly payment, and I still plan on making extra payments to principal whenever possible. So then why don't you just make the higher payment, you dumbass? This is so illogical. It is making me mad. Dumb, 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 dumb. Illogical, Captain. So that would be the downside. And so here's the disadvantage. Guess what? This happens. If you recast that or refinance that and get a lower monthly payment, guess what? That's going to stretch out the time you take to pay it off, probably. Because, again, there's a reason you want a lower monthly payment, and that's to use the money for something else. So let's just take a quick look and see if OP weighed in on what the heck OP would like to do. A lot of people here did it and they don't have any regrets. They're doing it wrong as well. I don't see OP on here anywhere. It would be like a blue, I think, OP next to one of these. I just want to see what the money is for. I don't. I'm scanning quickly here through here, so I don't know if somebody is saying, if anybody asks what you're going to. Do you actually need your payment to go lower? And no, you don't need it to go lower. There's OP right there. 4.75 fixed. That does not matter. You notice I did not ask about that because interest rates don't mean anything as far as the Ramsey advice is concerned. So that's a no. So nobody asked, what details could help you clarify? I'm happy to share. Nobody must have asked, or he didn't feel like weighing in with that. But that would be, why do you want the payment to be lower? And the answer would be, so I can do the Ramsey advice incorrectly, is the answer. So I can spend that money on something else. Sarah, here now, balancing family and work. Rock bottom, X left with my money. We nearly depleted the emergency fund. And with advice from this group, I multiple jobs. Okay. Most I have to travel, and I'll be honest, my daughter is suffering. No periods. I managed to secure a permanent job, but that starts on the 20th of January. Great. I know it's a matter of a few months. And we have Christmas coming up. You don't have Christmas in your situation. That's going to be you buy a couple things for your daughter, probably. But that's it. Nobody else. No. You can make something for them. Christmas coming up. But if we don't work, we will be homeless and foodless. Yeah. So work. Yeah. Had to begin again on the baby steps. My brother covered some of my bills. I want to pay back ASAP. Nothing the next few weeks, and build an emergency fund of 1,000 bloody quid. And then I guess restart the baby steps. How do parents on here manage emotionally with having to work so much and not see the child? Well, that's why, of course, you don't have babies with someone you're not married to. Now, I don't know. It just says ex, so that could be ex-husband. But if it's ex-husband, you should be getting child support probably. But otherwise, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be shacking up with someone you're not married to. You shouldn't have a baby with someone you're not married to. And so if you did that, that could be, what is it? The chickens have come home to roost or something like that. Maybe a different animal than chickens. But you did it now, so you just need to, don't do dumb crap like that again, if in fact you did that. But you have to do it. I mean, you have to have a place to live. You have to, right? You have to have money for food. Now you can lower that amount of money probably that you're doing, especially if you're buying a lot of fast food, because I work a lot and I'm working and I don't have time to cook. Make time. You have a day off here and there somewhere, and so you can do cooking. You can cook in advance and prepare stuff for the week. And you can have your daughter help you with that as well as she is able to, depending on age. But yeah, how do they manage emotionally with so much work to do? You have to deal with it. You have to man up or woman up in this case. You have to Just deal with it. I mean, the only other option is just giving up, right? And so that's not an option. So I guess I'll be sad about not being able to see my daughter so much, right? But again, you say, oops, my bad, because you are the one that got into this situation. And since you didn't say ex-husband, I'm going to think it's not an ex-husband. If it is, I mean, that happens sometimes. And of course, anytime you don't get to see your baby, you're not happy about that, of course. I mean, that happens to me, and mine are 21 and 29. Let's see. Papa Palpatine. All right. Star Wars reference there. Palpatine is the name of the emperor. His last name. Continue with investing. Good. I'm a father of five. Let's say 5. Yeah. With a stay-at-home wife. Currently looking for another wife, or she's looking for a job, maybe. People are nutty. You can't write coherent sentences. I'm putting 20% into a Roth plus company match. Do you see what I have highlighted there? Do you see that? It says 15%. You're doing it wrong. Plus company match. I'm bringing home nearly $7,000 a month out of a paper mill due to the extreme amount of overtime I'm able to pull off. Excellent. 180 hour plus last 2 weeks. Great. Fabulous. Lord loves a working man. The issue I'm having is I've seen the third quarter results of the company and learned we lost millions of dollars. I've also learned our mill needs nearly $500 million in upgrades, which currently would have to come through debt for the company, and it's not willing to do that. That's smart. You should close the mill before you take out $50 million in upgrades loans. That means that you did not do a good job running the business, or it was a bad idea to do that business. And it may have been fine for 20 years, but now it's not a good idea to do that, to have that job. And that's more for the owners, not for you. Then that really has nothing to do with you, except for you can start looking for another job immediately, is your turn on that. I've also learned in the mill we are on a deadline to change the type of paper we run by year's end. As my supervisor, if we'll make it, and all he had to say was make sure my wet. Let's see. Make sure my Indeed account is up to date. Okay, to get a new job with. So with a possibly impending closure in 60-ish days, do I stop pumping the 401k and build a reserve in case I need to transition into another local mill? Well, I didn't see anything in there. I didn't see anything anywhere that said, and this is how they might fix the situation. I don't see the situation being fixed, so I would just go ahead and get another job at another mill immediately and just work at one day, and then you put a stop date for working there. You give 2 weeks notice or whatever, and then that next day you work at the new mill. So you do that now. So as far as, I mean, it in this case, I would say it does sound like there's more than 50% of a chance that you will lose your job. And so 51% chance of or more of of losing your job, that does qualify as an emergency. So the advice would be to pause, baby steps, including investing, and you just pile up cash. And then, of course, if you have cash after the emergency's gone bye-bye, you can just put all that right there back in the market in a lump sum. Now, you shouldn't do lump sums as a practice. You put it in as you have it, but right now, being emergency time, you don't really have it because you're putting it towards emergency time. So you're pausing, and that would be storm mode. You have a storm, and it's also applicable if you are pregnant, because that is called stork mode, and that is the same thing. You stop investing and you put all that money into savings to weather the storm, the current emergency. But why, I don't know why you're not, I don't know why you already haven't applied at another paper mill or looked for any other kind of job. You should have done that immediately. Because again, the thing that I would need to hear to change my mind on that was, well, they're going to try this first to see if they can keep the company running, because I don't see how the company is going to keep running. I'm no longer afraid. Delete it. Somebody dissing the person that wanted to say they were no longer afraid. Recently, I decided to take my finances more seriously. I sat down. Okay. Always hate that. I mean, I get it. I understand when you do like important things and have good talks and you're doing paperwork and stuff like that. Most people sit down, but you don't have to sit down to do a budget. You don't have to sit down. But that's, again, that's one of those sayings that have come about where before you can talk about anything, you have to sit down. Anyway, did sit down, did make a real budget. Great. Should have had a real budget already, not a fake one, and moved all my money into one main account. Yeah, why was it split up in the first place? Dumb. My financial advisor had been telling me and I for a while to get organized, and it finally clicked. I started carrying a little notebook with me to track every random purchase, coffee, snacks, whatever. You could also just keep the receipt and take it home and then put it like in a spreadsheet or something. But my name is Paul, and that's between y'all the way you want to do it. I've got a set amount of fun money each pay period. Okay. And that's after covering bills, groceries, debt, and all the essentials. Okay. So if you have debt, then fun money shouldn't be that much of an amount. I am fortunate where the only debt I have is my student loans, and I'm throwing double hyphen triple. That's not a thing. Double, triple payments at it. And I am, because double, triple would be 6 times it. And I am, he probably means double or triple payments at it each time. And am ad Army, so my expenses are low. Am at Army, or I am an Army brat. No, I don't know what it would be. Army employee. I would just say a soldier, maybe. Anyway, thank you for your service. So my expenses are low. What's been surprising is how much it changes my mindset just to see the numbers. Indeed, people don't pay attention. If they paid attention to the numbers that their Starbucks is racking up per month, rather than just looking at it as the $7 per day or whatever it is, then they would be like, oh, and knowledge is power, and that's why you're no longer afraid. Knowledge is power, and you're doing something differently because of the knowledge that you have, and so that is how that works. Numbers go down in real time. Writing it out makes it tangible. Before, it's been mindlessly dip into savings or swipe the credit card and promise I'd fix it later. That is incredibly normal. And we don't want to be normal, do we? The answer is no. You know that cycle? Yes, I do. Been there, done that. Done my share of dumbassery for sure. Now it's different. I'm not afraid to open my banking app anymore. I know exactly what's in there and what it's for. It feels like, for me, control instead of chaos. That's exactly what it is. And that also would be what Mr. Ramsey might say is financial peace. Dizzy winner 4852, baby on the way, too much house. If you're asking, probably, almost certainly. Can I, those are two different things, of course. Can I afford my house when my wife stops working? If you bought an expensive house based on both of you working to pay it off, then guess what? Yes, you can't afford it by yourself. I feel like, for me, Dave would say, sell it. I'm way off in his percentages without my wife's income. Well then, why is there 6 more lines of stuff here? Why is it? That should be over then. You said, I feel like Dave would say sell it. You could have stopped it right there, but you went on and gave us a little bit more and said, I am way off in his percentages without my wife's income, okay? So we got two things now. We got just Dave said, which is a good enough reason to do anything financial. And we got the, I'm way off in his percentages. That means you bought too much house, my friend. So you don't ask if it's too much house. You know darn well it's too much house already. The next 18 months will be tight, but I think we can do it. You're full of crap, sir. I make from 170 to 190K per year. All right. So, I mean, if you got extra money, that should have already been put to the house to pay it off faster. And then this wouldn't be an issue at all, no, would it? But you did it wrong. You're doing things wrong. Let's see what else is going on. My wife, I make 50K. So it's 50K, but 50K is 50K, and you were counting on that when you bought your dumbass too much house. Currently contributing 10% to Roth 401k. My job does 6% match plus a 5% contribution. All right, guess what? That 6 match and that 5 contribution, none of that counts as yours. So you're only doing 10%. You would have to invest another 5%. So that's more money that you don't have to pay the mortgage. We'll be a family of 3 on earth. Rest in peace, my angel. Okay. Sorry to hear that. When my son is born. And that's a good thing. My wife will get 3 months of paid maternity leave. Then our plan is to take another 12 to 15 months off before we introduce daycare. Daycare is not going to be the answer either. She only makes $50,000. That's not going to work. It's not worth it for her to work. We have a paid for 2019 Grand Cherokee, and I have a company car that I can use for personal use. gas maintenance and repairs are. Now, did I open any of these before getting to the end? I don't think I did. Normally I check for the ellipsis at the end and see if we need to do that. Let's see, where are we? I have a company car that I can use for personal use. Gas maintenance and repairs are covered. Below is my planned budget for January, assuming low end of income. Income before tax, 14,000. Company 401k contribution, 1540. Okay. 32. Well, give me the bottom line. I don't need to know all this stuff. Net income, expenses 7. So you have $1,208. Yeah, well, that's right there. Surplus 1208. Okay. So if you can keep the monthly expenses to the 7,362 or lower them so that you have more money, and the 1208 is what would come from your wife's check, from her pay going to the house. So maybe it's not as bad as I thought. And of course, a big shovel changes everything. Of course, mortgage is $4,300. Then why is the $900? Oh, grocery $900. We got 3 people and groceries are $900. That not even 3 people yet. I mean, granted, she's eating for 2 now. But why are we spending $450 a piece at the grocery store? Why are we doing that? You're doing it wrong. Baby expenses. The baby's not born yet, right? Baby on the way, right? Baby's not born yet. What kind of baby expenses? Stop going crazy with buying stuff for baby. I get it. I can be emotional, especially since you lost your son or daughter. So I can appreciate that. But stop with the spending money, especially if you don't know if you can afford the house. For 7,300 foundation repair. How is it $300 a month for foundation repair? Is that a loan? $300. $300 for the cleaners. Okay. Guess what? If your wife stays home, she can do the cleaning. If that's dry cleaning, maybe you don't need to get everything dry cleaned, and you can only need to get like nice like dress clothing. I'm trying to see. Let's say 100 phone, 115, gym 37, 7 balance, savings account 4,200, emergency fund 22,500. We got some in the 529, some in the HSA, some in the Roth, and pre-tax. Okay. So see, I didn't need all of this. I mean, it's good I can tell you what you can cut out, which I did. But that's just for January. Well, I guess you would only be doing it for a month, but theoretically it would be the same every single month. Or it would be, because you're saying the low end of income, so it could be more. But it seems like from what you're saying, because you have the surplus of 1208, and it's 4,300. So that's even after paying the mortgage, right? So, I mean, yeah, it's not. That's why I said cut out some of this stuff that you can, so that you have more of a surplus. So I don't know if, I mean, does that include her as well? Her income is my plan budget. Yeah. So unfortunately, yeah, I won't be able to say. But depending on how much money you make, and if you're willing to keep that house in order to stay with a very strict budget, and to not, not, you're not going to take as many vacations, that kind of thing. You're not going to be spending as much fun money if you stay in the house. But the problem is that the numbers you gave me here, I am currently not seeing, which, like for example, the Roth, what is in the Roth IRA, and HSA have nothing to do with the mortgage payment. So, so there's a lot of extra info in here that is not needed, but I don't have everything that I need, but it looks like you could do it. But like for example, what would have been great is if you said, okay, well, she's working now, and this is how much we have, and if that's the 1208, and then when she stops working, that 1208 is going to go down, then yeah, that might be a problem. But it is a surplus. At least you're not negative. So I would need way more information. How many? 158 people on here. Consider moving, somebody said, but again, I don't see how he's figuring out, and the cleaners cut church donation. Christians would not do that probably. The cleaners, yes, you can do that. Save 600 a month right there. Grocery bill could be trimmed by 10 to 20% as well. Yes, I mentioned that as well. Not going to work 15 months, then you need to have at least that much of her income saved. So 62.5 in available cash. All right. But again, they're going to have an extra added expense of daycare if she goes back to work. So, and only making 50,000, I don't know that that's going to be worth it. Unless you can make more money there. Yeah, so this would have been way better if he had said, I am way off in his percentages without my wife's income, and here are the numbers that prove that. That would have been great to do, but you didn't do that. So unfortunately, don't know. Can't say for sure either way. But you would think, if you think it's going to be tight, then it's probably going to be tight, and there's not you didn't present a clear picture there. All right. Anyone in here a real estate agent? I am not, but we'll see what that's all about. Tomorrow on the after show. Yes, I am planning on doing that all this week except for Thursday morning. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday of this week. And I know because I've paid time off for all of those. I'm either regularly off or have paid time off for those days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. What else? Why is pricing still a secret? Oh no, that's an ad. My bad. Something about every dollar. Need a good game plan. It's called the baby steps, my friend. Learn it, know it, live it. And don't come up with a percentage that's close to the 15 but not being 15. It says 15 right there. Why would you do anything different? Oh, well, I'm smarter. I think I need to do my own thing. And I came up with my own thing. All right. I came up with my own thing, and my own thing was to become a certified Ramsey Solutions financial coach. And my own thing was to start a YouTube channel as well. And you can schedule. I need to see what that is. If that's some kind of, I wonder what freaking notifications I'm getting over and over again. You can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com, and we can work out that appointment. That will be via video conferencing, of course. Donations, so anywhere in the world. Donations go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $ Coach Steve Money, Coach Steve Money. Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. That same email address. And upcoming streams, as always, subject to change, but this week it really should not. The Ramsey Show After Show, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time, and that would be Monday through Friday, November 10th through the 17th, except for Thursday, November 16th, and that one's a maybe. That one could happen too, so it could be all week, but Thursday would be the only day not. And of course, answering your financial questions, which is this current stream here. And those start at 8 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday and or Sunday. Could be one, could be the other, could be both. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And thank you so much if you have done those things already. And as I say always, make smart financial decisions every day.